What's up, you guys? I am Nia. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. What it do, y'all? This video is for the black sheep. Let me set this thing down right here right quick. Let's set this thing down. Let's back up a little bit. So this message is to the black sheep. If you are the black sheep of the family, you have to understand that you are the generational curse breaker. God has appointed you, yes, you, to break the curses off your family bloodline. Whatever that curse may be for your family, whatever the curse may be, you know your family more than I do. Whatever that curse is, God is calling you to break it off your bloodline. God is calling you to change the narrative for your bloodline. God is also calling you to help many other black sheep who are still lost, who still in the wilderness, who still have no clue, who still just in victim state. God is calling you to help the rest. So this is why it's important for you to go on a spiritual healing journey where you go in isolation. You allow God to work on you, let God to heal you, work on you and through you so that you can work in your purpose. Because in this season, God is going to show you who you are, why you are the way you are, why he allowed you to go through the things that you went through, and what you now are going to do with that pain. All the pain that was caused on you, he want to show you why he sent you through that. He want to show you. It wasn't to hurt you. It wasn't to harm you. It was to use you as a vessel for other people. We got to understand that the things that we go through in life, it has nothing really to do with us. God has to use us in the world, period. He has to use us to help others. He has to use each of us that are here. We all help one another in one way, shape, or form. And specifically the chosen ones, which is the black sheep, which is God's chosen ones, which is the ones that has been marked since birth, which is the ones when he knew you, when you was in your mama womb, for I knew you and I ordered you to be a prophet amongst the nations. God calls you. This is why oftentimes the black sheep has been silenced. The black sheep has low self-esteem because the black sheep has been ostracized and kicked down and stepped on and stepped on. The reason for this is so you can have the experience, so you know what it's like. So when you go out here and find your tribe, so when you get out here, when you go through boot camp, all of that stuff that we go through, all that pain and suffering, that's boot camp. That's boot camp. It's boot camp. So then when he called you to your throne, when he give you your staff and say, like he did Moses, say, now I need you to take over. You can't be like, I don't know, I'm not prepared. No, you know you prepared because you've been through boot camp. You went through the trenches. You have so much experience because of what you have been through. So now you are to use that experience that you've been through and teach the masses. You're going to have a group of people that you're going to lead. Just like Moses had to lead the Israelites, and once his time was done, Joshua had to lead them, and then the next and the next and the next. You were being prepared this whole time. It had nothing to do with you per se. It ain't that you just a bad person. Yeah, you might have done some wicked things. People done wicked things to you, but it was all for your greater good. This is why on this journey, you have to heal. You have to heal that brokenness in your heart. And this is what he wants you to do. So when he's isolating you from people, when he's putting you by yourself, you can't feel like God is leaving you behind. He don't care about you no more. He just wants you to suffer and shrivel up and die. That's not what he wants. He wants you to, for one, learn lessons. Learn your lesson. Learn your lesson. Heal your heart. Learn boundaries, because for one, a lot of us, especially if you're the black sheep, if you've been ostracized, if you never really fit in with your family, you never fit in with society, you've just been kicked down, stepped over. 9 times out of 10, you have very, very low self-esteem and you lack boundaries. And 9 times out of 10, you are an empathic person. You're an empathic person. Unless you then took all that pain and built up so much hate in your heart. Now you might be a dark empath, but nonetheless, you still can feel for others. You still know whether you weaponize that or not and use it for negativity amongst people. That's a different story. But ultimately, he let that stuff happen to you because he needs you to step up and lead. He needs you to use your voice. 9 times out of 10, you were silenced because you spoke the truth. You're the truth teller. You're the truth teller, and people can't take that about you. But that's the very thing that God loves about you. That's why he instilled it in you. This is why it's all strategic. Everything is strategic. And if you know God is very strategic in what he does. This is why he'll allow the black sheep to be at the bottom. You the underdog. 9 times out of 10, you the underdog. You might have been the underdog in school. You're the one that the people would have never thought it would be you. They didn't kick you down so much, bullied you, talked about you, because first of all, they seen some light within you. They didn't understand who you were, but they saw the light in you from day one. From the beginning, you were anointed since birth. This is biblical. This is biblical. I told y'all I need to create the playlist for all the Bible studies, but then some of it is under who we are as black people, whatever, that playlist that I have. But when I was reading the book of Numbers, it talks about the marking. That's what I'm saying. God is so strategic. Just like he marked them, he had Moses and Aaron to mark the Israelites from 1 month old. From 1 month old, he had them to mark them. You were marked, and you were marked for a purpose. He's very strategic in what he does. You're marked. That's why you have that light on you. That's why people just can't, it's something about you that they can't grasp. They can't figure you out. They can't figure you out. And sometimes you can't even figure your own stuff out because you don't know who you are. You're confused. You know that you're different. You don't understand why you're different. You don't understand why you're not accepted. But that's because you are a chosen one. You are anointed, baby. And you have to fully step into your anointing. You have to fully answer the call. For many are called, but few are chosen. You have to answer that call on your life. You have to answer the call. You have to get that fear about your heart. Stop being fearful. Stop being scared about being public, being in the open. Maybe God is calling you to start your own YouTube channel. Maybe God calling you on another platform. Maybe God calling you to do something locally for your community. But you scared. You scared to speak up. You scared to tell your story. It's all about, you have to tell your story. That's what I'm saying. You go from victim to survivor to thriver. A lot of people still operate, a lot of black sheep, you still operate in a victim state of mind. They need to stop this lawnmower and stuff they got going on here. But I don't want to, maybe I should just go inside. Let me go inside. Y'all, they get on my nerves with this, because when I go inside, they down there out the front, they get on my nerves with all this lawnmower crap they got going on. But you guys, I forgot where I was at, but God called you, he marked you. The things you have went through is so that you can have the experience and the knowledge and the wisdom so that you can show up and teach the rest. We have to understand that it's our job to reach back out and pull the people up. It's our job to break the generations on your family bloodline. So he wants to send you on your wilderness, in your wilderness season. He wants to isolate you. You are isolated. You are going through the things that you're going through because it's things that he needs to teach you. He needs to heal you. He needs to heal you from your brokenness. He needs to purify you, purify that water up in you. He needs to show you who you are, why he called you here. For many are called, but few are chosen. It's important. They really getting on my nerves. All right, y'all. They really getting on my nerves because they just keep following everywhere. So now I had to come in the garage. But God called you. He called you. He needs to show you who you are, why you are that way. And now to show you what you need to do with that pain. He needs to heal you. He needs to teach you boundaries. He needs to teach you how to truly love yourself, because a lot of black sheep don't love ourselves because you have been kicked down for so long. But it's time to become that thriver that he wants you to be. You go from victim to survivor to thriver. And I got this little chart that I found about the traits of each, and I'm gonna probably include it in this video, so that you see where you are in your life. But you don't want to stay in a victim mentality, because that does you no good. That's when you sit and soaking in. If you dwell on the past too much to the point where it keep you depressed, full of anxiety, you're still in victim state of mind. If you blame everybody, if you just constant blaming the past, blaming everybody, yeah, they did these things. It's not to invalidate your feelings, baby, because you are definitely entitled to feel the way you feel. You're entitled to be hurt. It's definitely okay. But what is not okay is to stay stuck in that mentality of, oh, everybody just wronged me. We know they wronged you. Yes, in all actuality, you are the victim, but you don't want to show up as the victim all the time, because there's no time for that. God needs you. He's trying to train you. He's trying to allow all of that pain that you've been through to become wisdom, so you can teach the rest, so that they don't have to go through it. Or even when they do go through it, you can help them get through it. Your job is to help the rest. You're to heal. A lot of times you might be the one that attract broken people. You wonder, why do I always attract broken people? For one, you operating from a place of brokenness. And for two, you have the ability as that empath to feel for them. So now you want to save them. You want to show up as super saver hoe, super saver nigga. You want to show up as that to comfort them, to let them know that there is love, because you never felt that love. So now you want to pour all that love that you have and wish that you have received and wish that you could give to the family that you try to give it to, the people who you've tried to give it to. You want to give it to somebody. A lot of us are bottled up with so much love. We have so much love that we want to give. Some of us can't because we're afraid to let our guard down and be hurt. I'm back inside because that echo out there getting my nerves too. But a lot of us have been through so much, and you don't want to stay in a victim state of mind where you dwelling on the past so much. It's when you become a survivor, when you're a survivor, that's when you become okay to tell your story. That's when you becoming bold enough, courageous, so to tell your story. You're not afraid of what everyone is thinking, what they're saying. You're going to tell your story, and people who love you, people who don't like you, people who have all these things to say about you, it's not a factor to you, because you're getting it out, and you have to release it. You cannot hold on to a bunch of bottled up emotions inside, because that does you more harm than good. You don't want to bottle up those feelings inside. And most times, that's what you do. And when you're ready to go from survivor to thriver, now that's the point. The victim state is when it's like, okay, wow, why did this happen to me? This is what you say as a victim. Why did this happen to me? Why me? If you live in a why me state of why me, everything just keep happening to me, I can never win. When you operate like that, you're still in a victim mentality. You need to go through to the survivor mindset, where you're gonna now be like, okay, I went through that. Damn, it's like, damn. You like, damn, I went through that. Like, dang, why did I go through that? But it's like, man, whatever. I made it out. I'm still here. I'm still thriving. The way the enemy tried to kill me, to try to destroy me, you didn't win per se. I might got some brokenness inside of me, but I'm still up, moving about. I'm not stuck in a depressive state of mind where I'm just stuck and I'm letting the world and everything that happens just defeat me every day. Sometimes you're going to feel defeated. You're going to have mixed emotions in survivor state, but you still keep pushing. You don't just sit there and succumb to all the injuries of life. You don't sit there and succumb to that. Whereas when you take it now to thriving stage, you're going to turn that pain into purpose. You're going to be bold. You're going to speak up. You're not going to care what the people got to say. You speak in your mind, and now you're helping others. So survivor state, you're willing to tell your testimony. You're willing to tell your testimony in survivor state. You coming out, you telling your story, you telling what happened to you no matter what they think. But now when you become the thriver, everything that you told these people, your survivor state, that's also when you're going through 9 times out of 10, that's when God will send you on your spiritual journey, send you away, send you into isolation, send you into the wilderness so he could work on you. And as he's working on you, as he's healing you, as he's healing that heart of yours, as he's teaching you forgiveness, because forgiveness is for you. And I know we don't like to hear this stuff, but you have to forgive these folks. Don't mean that you even got to necessarily tell them. It don't mean at all that you ever have to rekindle it with them and reconcile and be back buddy with them. None of that. But it's to a point, it gets to a point where if you want to, you can tell them, I forgive you. If you're open to letting them apologize to you, that's okay too, but it doesn't mean you have to reconcile with them. But now is when you take that pain and now you're ready to give back. You in your charity season. When you thriving, it's when you're giving back. when you're fully stepping into your purpose, when you fully have answered the call on your life. Because like I said, for many are called, but few are chosen. You have to answer your call in life. Whatever the mission is that God had for you, maybe he wants you to be a minister. Maybe he's giving you gifts, dreams, and visions where you are to prophesy to the world about what you see. Maybe you are to be a spiritual teacher. Maybe you are to help other ones who've been through that same type of abuse. Maybe you are to start your survivor charity where whatever type of abuse you went through, now you're a spokesperson for that cause. Whatever it is, you're now stepping fully into that, and you're embracing that pain, and you're turning it into purpose. And now you're helping others. You got your tribe of people out there who went through the same thing as you. And now you helping them step into their fullness, and them to talk about their stuff and help them to get into their purpose too. You helping lift them up. And this is an opportunity to truly turn your pain into profit. The thing that the enemy meant to kick you down, destroy you, the very thing he meant to destroy you, now use that and capitalize off of it. You no longer suffering out of that weak mentality where you feel like, oh, everything was just against you. Only bad things happening to you. Nah, you'd be like, yeah, that happened to me. And look, I made it out. And now I'm going to tell my story to the world. Now I'm going to give back. Now I'm going to fully prosper. Now I'm fully walking in my purpose because of that thing. Now that very thing has pushed me closer to God. So now I'm able to let God lead my life and let him lead the way for me. And now I'm not even so worried about all of that stuff. Yeah, I'm going to think about it sometimes because it's like, wow. But it's like when you get to this point, and I know because I'm in that point now. I'm in my thriving stage. Now it's like, okay, I appreciate all of that. I appreciate all that. Every lick that was sent against me, everything that was meant to destroy me, it's like, I appreciate it. You get to a point where you do forgive. You don't hold a bunch of hate in your heart. You don't hold a bunch of hate in your heart because it's like, wow, if I would have never went through that, I wouldn't have the knowledge and the wisdom on this. I wouldn't be here now where I am. So you have to appreciate, you have to take the good with the bad, but understand that it's all meant for your greater good. All that what you went through was boot camp. You went through boot camp, and you might have been in boot camp for 30 years, 40 years, 15 years, however old you are. You might have been through boot camp all this time because God has been calling you. He's been equipping you. He's been constantly allowing you to go through some of the same things again and again and again for you too to learn lessons. So that way, once you get into the war field, once you get up here, because being in the thriver stage and you know, whatever lane he has you in, and you have to step up there boldly, the closer you get to accomplishing those goals, the more you reaching out, helping people, the more purpose that you have to serve out here. It's going to always be trolls coming at you, enemy going to be sending his little demon seeds to try to bring you back down, to try to shut you back up because he don't want you speaking up. So you're gonna be going through all that, but you're gonna be fully equipped. When you see these trolls and all of that in the comments, when people, the naysayers around you at your job, all these places, when they saying this stuff, you're gonna eat that shit. You're gonna be like, man, whatever. I'm gonna still keep showing up. I'm gonna still keep doing me. I'm here for God. You working for God. You're not worried about that. You're not worried about that. You worried about how many lives you're going to save through your story. That's what you become worried about. Not how many people going to laugh at you for what you've been through. Not how many people going to talk about you and kiki. You ain't worried about all that. You ain't worried about that. You're not worried about that. So you want to get to a point where you understand that it's not about you while you went through this stuff. And I've been, you know, especially me as being an advocate for child sex abuse, I've been listening to some stories and they just be like, wow, you know, and to see some of the people who made it out of some horrific childhoods, very, very, just awful, just diabolical, just complete wicked. I just be looking at them, I'm like, wow, you know, so as I'm an advocate for that, you know, I understand people have went through a lot of stuff and you be scared to talk about it because about what people might say about you, but it ain't even about you. And then you can't worry about what these people got to say. You got to worry about making sure you show up for your cause because God is counting on you to lead a pack of people, lead a pack of people out of darkness, lead a pack of people out of depression. He's counting on you to do that. So for you to be able to do that, you first got to do your work on yourself. You got to allow God to work on you and through you. You got to stop being worried about the naysayers. You got to be willing to fix your own things, learn boundaries. You have to, a lot of things that you need to fix about yourself too. Because sometimes you have been, sometimes you have been broken down so much. You don't love yourself. A lot of us, men and women, very, very low self-esteem. You know you got low self-esteem by the way you talk to yourself, the way you feel about yourself, the way you allow others to affect you, how you think about yourself, the things you allow other people to do to you at this current state. If you allow people to treat you any kind of way, that's how you know when you got low self-esteem. But when you get that self-esteem and you begin to know who you are and walk confidently in that, you're not going for any of that stuff. You're not going for any of that stuff. And God wants to bless you. He has inheritance for you, a spiritual inheritance, just as much as a physical monetary gain of inheritance. But it's up to you to answer the call on your life. He's not just going to give you these material blessings out of nowhere. He's going to make sure you're good. He's not going to, you're going to go through a journey. I mean, y'all see my journey. He going to send you on a journey. You might fall and all that, but you think you falling, but really it's the breakdown for the build up. Sometimes he got to break us all the way down, just to build us back up on a solid foundation that has him as the base, building among him. Because sometimes, a lot of times, we building without God. Nah, he going to break you all the way down, send you into isolation so you can put him in the forefront and let him lead your life, order your steps. Because he knows the plans that he had for you, says the Lord, plans to prosper you, give you a hope and a future, not to harm you. It was never to harm you. It was to give you a hope and a future. It was for you to know that you can lean on him. When you feel like you don't have nobody else, to know that you have God, the Father, the Creator, the one who ordered your whole life out. He planned your whole life before you was even born into this world. When you was in your mama womb, what he said for you was, when you was in the belly, I knew you. I think that's Jeremiah. For I knew you. When you were in the belly, when you were in your mama womb, I knew you. I anointed you. I appointed you when you was in that womb. I knew you before your mama even knew you. She don't know the plans that I had for you. She can't tell you what you're supposed to be doing here on this earth. Your daddy can't tell you what you're supposed to be doing here on this earth. Only God can do that, because God is the creator of all things. God is the creator. And he wants us to put him first, especially as black sheep, you are God's, you're his military camp. Your job is to fight for righteousness. You're to be a spokesperson for kingdom of light. You're supposed to promote things that is of the kingdom of God, not the kingdom of darkness, not these worldly things. He needs you to be healing, saving, on a Jesus type mission. That literally is what he wants you on. Healing, saving, delivering folks. That's what your job is. Because you have the tools, the credentials to do so. Because you can, for one, empathize with the people who have been through the things that they've been through, the people who are in darkness. You have the skills to empathize with them. They can relate to you. And because they can relate to you and you can relate to them and you can feel for them, now you can kind of lead them and guide them. But he first have to send you through your boot camp. And that's what you've been through in life. And then now when you go in isolation season, that's when he really take you through more of a heightened boot camp. Like it's like a different classes of it. So you went through all the hard stuff. Now he need to show you why you went through that, what you need to do with that. He need to remove some of your things up off of you, some of the bad traits, the bad behaviors of your self-sabotaging ways. He need to teach you self-love. He need to pour into you. He needs you to get closer to him. He needs you to learn more of what's his likeness. He needs you to learn how to truly listen to him. He needs to teach you how to follow your intuition. He needs to teach you how to listen to his voice and let it lead you so that he can lead you to the prosperous life that he had for you. Some of us, a lot of us are going to be the first millionaires in our family. The first ones, maybe you first one to go to college. Maybe you're the first one to even make 100,000. Maybe you're the first one to get married. Maybe you're the first one to do things right. You know, so, but even when it comes to that, it ain't even about doing it right, because everything you've been through, it ain't no right way to live, to grow up through life. Because God orders everyone's step. It's a plan that he has for everybody. If it wasn't God's plan for everybody to do it what they would say the right way is, with, you know, growing up like this, having the perfect life, having the perfect, you know, childhood, and then going off to college, and then going to get married after college, and then having your kids, and then having a successful career and stay at home. God would not even order it for everybody to live that same life, because that's not going to help with his mission out here. It's not even realistic for that. But maybe you are going to be the one who become the better parent. He's choosing you to become a better parent, to teach what it's like to have emotional connection to your children, not just about providing like a lot of our parents have done. God is teaching us how to break off certain curses. The curse of your family might have been drug addiction, might have been, all type of things. Maybe everybody in your family have been sexually abused. It's your job to make sure now that your kids and every kid after in your family and even in other families, make sure that don't happen to them. Maybe, many different things. But he want to use you. And this is why you have to use your voice. He gave you a voice. That's your gift. All of us ain't got the talent of being able to draw, being able to be a poet, being able to play basketball, being able to rap, being able to sing. No, some of us is literally the tongue. He gave us power through our tongue. Some of us, that's what our purpose is. That's why you were silenced, especially if you're the truth teller. Many people are liars out here. Many people live and sell nothing but lies. Many of these people are Satan kids, because Satan is the father of lies. And many of these people love to live lies. But you are different. You don't like lies. You don't like all of that. You are the spirit of truth. You are the truth teller. You've always been. That's why you've been ostracized. You are the one that don't want to just dim your light to fit in with them. You want to be bold and be creative, be who you are. And that's why God allowed you to be that. That's why those people hated you. So he needs you to now use that same thing. The same reason why they've been hating you since you was a kid. Use that same energy now to be bold, creative, speak up. Use that. You don't have to be silenced no more. You're grown now. You're grown. Speak up. You don't have to walk on eggshells no more. No more eggshells. No more walking on eggshells. Be bold. It don't matter who feelings you hurt at this point. It's going to piss them off first, but they'll get it together maybe. And if they don't, that's on them. Let God get to them. But in the meantime, you got to show up, because it ain't about your family. It ain't about your friends. It's about serving the masses. You can't, it's not about just serving the little 10 people in your life. It's more, you have a bigger mission than that. So you can't worry about the little 10 people, your family members, your little friends. You can't worry about them. It's bigger than you. It's bigger than them. And they know. That's why they'll try to be, don't do this. They'll try to humble you, try to keep you down so that you can't fully walk into your calling. But no, you're going to walk in your calling. For many are called, but few are chosen. You are chosen. God chose you for a time such as this. You have to go through the process so that you can truly step into that thriving mode that he needs you to be, that prosperous woman and that prosperous man that he has called you here to be. You have a big anointing on your life. You have to answer it. You have to stop being afraid. You have to stop operating from a place of brokenness. You have to. If you want to change your life, whatever you be praying to all the time, God want to answer those prayers. But it's like a give and take. He needs you to do something too. And he needs you to be bold. You got to be bold, like you always really been, but they kind of shunned you. So now it's like you became timid. No, get back to being that bold, audacious girl, that bold, audacious man that you used to be. Get back to that. The one that you was when you was a little girl and a little boy when they hated you. The stuff that you stood for then, stand for it now. Don't feel like now you can't be that person no more because they didn't shun you for being that person. Nah, God put that in you for a reason, and he needs you to show up in that, because you got lives to save, baby. You got impact to make, baby. Your name gonna ring bells out here, baby. You got to do it, you know? So, I'm going to leave this here because my baby waking up now. And I'm going to go get in the shower because I just came back from exercising. And I'm sweaty and gritty. So I'm going to go get in the shower. But you got this. You are chosen, baby. You are chosen. You got to let that hurt go. It's not to invalidate you. It's not to say that your feelings don't matter. Because they do matter. But stop looking for closure from these people. You get closure through your own self. You give yourself closure. God let you get closure when he got you away from them people. And if you ain't away from them people yet, he's trying to give you closure by getting you away from them so you can heal yourself, so he can heal you. And through that process, that's how you get closure. Because once he revealed these things to you, you be like, dang. You know, you don't have a bunch of malice intent. You don't have a bunch of hate in your heart. You're not seeking revenge. You're not doing none of that. You get the closure from understanding, for one, because once you let God work on you, you're going to begin to understand other people a lot better. Like, oh, dang, even the stuff that they did to me, you're going to be like, the stuff that they did to me ain't really even had nothing to do with me. It was pain that they was suffering from. And instead of them taking it to God and letting God work on them, they signed up to be on the enemy camp. They signed up to be a demon seed, a monitoring spirit. They signed up to be a Delilah in them. And you be like, dang. And all you do is pray for them. That's the closure you get. You get closure just through praying that they get some healing, that they get right over there away from you, though. You know, you can love a person, but don't mean that they got to be up close and personal with you. You love them from a distance. Pray for them. Pray for their healing. Pray for their wellness. Pray for them from over there. Meanwhile, you work on you. You work on you. Because they didn't have their time. And they still got time. But you're not worried about them. You're worried about you. So that's the only closure you need, is knowing that you survived everything that was meant to destroy you. And now you turning that pain into purpose. And that alone is going to bring you some closure. That's going to bring you closure. You don't have to talk to those people again. All right. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces. Mwah.